Have you ever thought about what it would be like to own your life? This is what I think it means to own your life. When you subtract out the sleeping time, commuting time, working time, and things you have to do each and every day of your life, most people don't have more than 1 to 2 hours a day to do what they'd like to do. And then would they have the money to do it? We've discovered a way a person can learn how to own their life by building a home-based business. And we have a system for doing it that is so simple, anyone can do it. It doesn't require selling, and the best part is, it won't take much of your time. If you're interested, contact the person that sent you to this site.
A new Rutgers University survey finds more than half of Americans are unhappy, worried, or pessimistic about the economy. CBS News contributor and Republican pollster Frank Luntz addressed these issues with a focus group of 25 people here in Studio 57.
The phrase of 2014, income inequality. You hear it on television all the time. People are talking about it. In the polling that we've done, a majority of Americans believe it's true. But what do you think?
The reason that there's income inequality, in my opinion, is because there's no manufacturing in this country.
That's because all of the jobs have gone overseas because of the greed of the corporate executives who make millions of dollars while firing other people who need the jobs.
The children of the wealthy have their ticket written from the day they're born. They're going to Yale, they're going to Harvard, they have jobs waiting for them. It's all set in stone. Everybody else has to fight for it, and the corporations aren't creating any jobs.
I have a 27-year-old, and I encouraged him after he graduates, leave this country to go find a job.
So you would leave the country?
I lived in Australia for a year, and I made minimum wage over there is about $20 an hour. Why would I stay here for $7.50?
I write you a check for $10 million, and here's the catch. You cannot return back to America. You can take anyone with you. You can live in Canada, Mexico, wherever you want to live across the globe. Check for $10 million, but you cannot return. Who would take the money? Raise your hands. You see, that just blows me away. You would go and not come back.
I would go for free right now, actually. I feel like there's no future for me here. As a young adult growing up, an African American, I don't feel like that.
That breaks my heart.
It's true.
I had to do things that I never had to do. I'm going to the National Guard, which, I mean, I am going to serve, but I never thought I would be doing that. I mean, I have a college degree. In Europe, they pay for your education. Canada, they pay for your education also.
How many of you think the next generation is going to have it even more difficult than this generation? Raise your hands. This, to me, is devastating.
Look, here's the thing. You've got a Congress full of millionaires who are funded by corporations that are interested in their little cut. No one is looking out for America.
Are you nervous for your kids?
Yes, I am.
And
yes.
What do you think their future will be like under the current system?
I'm hopeful that it will get better. I do worry, but I wouldn't take that check from you. I wouldn't leave this country.
You'd stay here?
I still think it's the best country in the world.
Would you take my check?
No.
Why not?
I agree with her. I still think this is the best country in the world, and I still think that you have the opportunity here.
What does it say? I'd like you to answer this as a mom who wants her children to succeed. What does it say when you are so pessimistic that you think your children will be worse off than you?
It eats at you. And the only thing I can see is education and praying that businesses will get some tax relief, bring jobs from overseas, and have some jobs for my kids when they're done with school.
So the tax policy has to change.
When you say tax policy, you mean tax the rich?
No, I don't even necessarily mean increase the taxes on the rich. I mean remove the loopholes. You have major corporations.
You agree with that?
Like General Electric.
You agree with that?
Yeah. Billions and billions of dollars who pay no tax.
Exxon, BP, Amoco paid very little in taxes
How about
compared
Apple
to
and Google, too? Yeah. Just the liberal companies, too, don't pay taxes. They all shelter taxes. Doesn't matter whether they're Democrats, Republicans, liberals, or conservatives. They all shelter taxes.
Last question. Is it Washington's fault, Wall Street's fault, or both? Washington. Who says Washington alone? One. Who says Wall Street alone?
They're one and the
One.
same.
Who says both of them? For the first time in this conversation, we have consensus.
And Frank Lentz is with us now. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning. That was one of the most depressing sessions I have ever done.
One thing I want to say here, because I noticed this before the recession, that the middle class in this country felt that they had been left behind. And the recession only deepened that. And now we're here.
And the people feel like they're working hard.
Yeah.
They're sacrificing, living paycheck to paycheck. And yet it's getting more and more difficult for them. And the elites that are supposed to help them are doing nothing for them. Big business, big labor, big media, big politics, Washington, Wall Street, it doesn't matter. They have no allies anymore. There's no one trying to protect them. And they're just fed up.
You use the word depressing to describe that because...
Because I can't imagine ever leaving this country.
Yeah.
I don't care what you would pay me. $1 billion, $10 billion. I leave for 3 days and I'm homesick. And yet these people have given up, and that's the key to this. It's no longer that they are angry. We now have a segment, and I'd say it's between about 15 and 20%, who've said, you know what? It will never get better for me, and it'll never get better for the country.
What is the message, though, for policymakers to take on a group like this?
Wake the hell up. And it just agitates me, Republican and Democrat aside. It doesn't matter what party you are. It doesn't matter what policies you are. At some point, you have to stop tearing each other apart. At some point, you have to stop tearing each other down and actually do something with the other side that requires compromise, cooperation, because if you don't do it, this anger, we're going to have a whole generation of people that will no longer believe that America is this great country that we all know it is.
What's distressing in that, though, is that this message has been out there, if you've been listening, for quite some time.
But that's the whole point, is I don't think people listen. I'm grateful to you all for putting that on the air and for doing it as well as you all did. Because now the average American gets a chance to hear this. The problem is, I don't think people tell politicians this. They always tell them that they're great, or they yell at them. They never really tell the truth. That's the truth.
But are politicians listening?
I'm not convinced of it.
Yeah.
I watch what's going on in the campaigns, all the negativity.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that we have a great debate season this fall, where you get a chance to hear the differences in a positive way, not just tearing each other down.
The cry has certainly gotten a lot louder, even though it's been around for a while, about corporate tax laws and the tax breaks some groups are getting. Frank, it was really interesting. Thank you for sharing with us this morning.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Have you ever thought about what it would be like if you could own your life? Well, what we think it means is that by the time you subtract out the sleeping time, commuting time, working time, things that you have to do each and every day of your life, most people don't have but 1 or 2 hours a day of their lives to do what they'd like to do, and then would they have the money to do it? We have discovered a way a person can learn how to own their life by building a home-based business, and we have a system for doing it that is so simple, anyone can do it, doesn't require selling of any sort, and the best part, it won't take much of your
To my
time.
dear friends and family, I really like that this company has set up an easy way for me to show you about my new adventure and why I'm so excited. Because as excited as I am, I was a little afraid to show it to you for fear of rejection. So they made this special video to make it easy on both of us. So here it is. Dear friends and family, you're probably surprised to hear that I've recently started buying gold. And frankly, I'm surprised as well. But this just made sense to me and thousands of others. With all the economic instability in our country and the world, I'd been concerned for a while, and I kept hearing about gold being a stable solution for nations, banks, and of course, the ultra-wealthy. Then, out of the blue, I was introduced to a gold buying program that was simple, sensible, and realistically doable for people like me and possibly you. That's why I'd like to introduce you to a new way to own, save, and even use gold as money. I was pretty skeptical when I first heard about this, and I imagine you might be as well. What I'm talking about is called a carat bar. A carat bar is a globally recognized form of money. Each carat bar contains 1 gram of 999.9% pure gold bullion, visibly sealed directly inside a credit card-sized card, which fits perfectly inside your wallet. They look awesome. Plus, they have added 2.5 and 5 gram sizes to choose from. So I decided to investigate a little further. What I discovered is that Carat Bars International is a legitimate, debt-free, fully self-funded corporation based in Germany. They're growing rapidly because they provide one of the world's most highly valued resources in a totally new 21st century format. Everyone should own some gold. I sincerely believe it's the right time, and Karatbars is the right way to do it. That's why I'm so excited about sharing this with you as my way of paying it forward. Now, this may or may not be for you, and if it isn't, of course, that's fine. I certainly respect your decision. In turn, I hope you'll respect and support my desire to tell family and friends about the value of Karatbars. No doubt, we all buy a lot of stupid things in our lives, but gold is not one of them. Karatbars is prime real estate. It costs less than any comparable 1-gram gold bullion bar of this quality. It resells for more, and it holds its value out of the vault. Once you discover the numerous benefits of owning Karatbars and paying it forward to your own family and friends, I know you'll appreciate my enthusiasm about this unique way to save, sell, and even retail gold. Oh, and did I mention your account is totally free? All you have to do is click on the link on this page to open yours today. So, what's even better than owning a little gold? The feeling that comes from paying this great idea forward to family and friends and the people you care about. Sincerely, me.
Most people aren't used to playing with numbers in this way, but when you take a look at what this can do, you can get really excited because you suddenly realize that you don't have to go out and sponsor a lot of people to build a very large organization. So, for example, you sponsor 2 people, you help them sponsor 2, that goes to 4, you help them each sponsor 2, that goes to 8, then it goes to 16. But notice what happens if everybody just got just 1 more. Of course, you now have 3 on your first level, 9 on your second, 27 on the third, and 81 on the 4th level. Now notice that the difference when you go down the 2, 4, 8, 16, notice the difference between 16 and 81 is 65 more people, and everybody only sponsored 1 more. Now, let's fast forward this to having sponsored 5 people. 5 goes to 25, 125, 625. Now, notice what happens here when everybody sponsors 1 more. Now you have 6, 36, 216, 1,296. So the difference between 1,296 and the 625 is 671. But now let's take a look at the totals here. Because when you total up the 525, 125, 625, that totals 780. When you total up the 636, 216, 1,296 side, that's 1,554. Notice the total difference there is 774. But what's the real difference? The real difference is everybody just sponsored 1 more.